Chosen one, you are not here by accident. You have been led to this moment by divine appointment, drawn into a Kairos hour where heaven's timing intersects with your life in a way that cannot be ignored. Something is shifting around you and within you. You may not have words for it yet, but your spirit knows. The atmosphere has changed. You are standing at the edge of phase 2, a destined moment, a supernatural turning point, a doorway God has opened specifically for you. This is the hour spoken of in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, the appointed time that does not delay, the moment when what God promised begins to unfold before your eyes. And Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 reminds us that to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Chosen one, your time has arrived. The stirring you feel is not random. The heaviness, the signs, the sudden inner awakening, these are signals that heaven has initiated a divine acceleration. Today, tonight, or in the coming hours, something in your life can break open, shift, transform. You are the anointed one chosen for this precise moment. Open your heart now. A supernatural transformation is already moving toward you. Chosen one, listen closely. Something sacred is unfolding around you, and whether you fully see it or not, heaven has already stepped into your story. Phase 2 is not coming, it has already begun, and your spirit has been feeling the shift. This is why your mind has been restless, why your heart has been stirring, why certain people have faded, and why old emotions have resurfaced. You're not breaking down, you're being repositioned. And the pressure you're feeling is the evidence that the mantle on your life is being upgraded. Phase 1 was the season where God taught you how to survive storms. But phase 2 is where he teaches you how to command atmospheres. This is not just growth, this is ascension. And with ascension comes exposure, both to divine elevation and to spiritual resistance. That's why you felt the subtle warfare around your mind, your peace, your clarity. The danger on your head is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something holy is happening. Elevation always attracts observation, both heavenly and hostile. I say this with reverence because I've lived it. There are moments in life when you feel like everything is shifting underneath your feet, like the ground is moving, but no one else seems to notice. I remember nights when I prayed without words, when all I could offer God was the ache inside my chest. I didn't understand it then, but now I see it clearly. That was the moment heaven was rerouting me. And chosen one, this is where you are standing now, right at the doorway of divine rearrangement. Phase 2 is not about struggle, it's about strategy, not about pressure, but purpose. You're stepping into a realm where what used to drain you will no longer defeat you, where what once intimidated you will bow to the authority God placed inside you. You're not walking into this season as the same person you were in phase 1. You are walking in as someone tested, sharpened, stretched, and spiritually conditioned. And heaven is about to reveal why the stretching had to be so intense. There is a reason your spirit refuses to settle, a reason you feel called to something beyond the ordinary routine of life. That pull you feel, that quiet voice urging you onward, that sense that something bigger is waiting, that is God aligning you with the assignment written over your name before you were born. The ancient words from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1, whisper the truth. To everything there is a season, and this season, chosen one, is the season where hidden things become visible, where silent prayers become manifested realities. But hear me, with this elevation comes spiritual awareness. The danger on your head is not physical, it is spiritual distraction, emotional agitation, mental noise, anything sent to pull you off alignment. The enemy cannot destroy you, but he can attempt to derail you. He can whisper doubts, amplify insecurities, resurrect old fears, and yet what he doesn't understand is that you've already outgrown the version of yourself he's attacking. He's fighting who you used to be, not who you are now. And this is where your power begins to rise. Because phase 2 is not just about receiving blessing, it's about becoming the person who can carry blessing without breaking under its weight. Many desire abundance, influence, opportunity, and elevation. But few are prepared to stand under the spiritual responsibility that comes with it. You, however, you've been prepared. Every sleepless night, every closed door, Every disappointment, every sudden shift was shaping you into someone unshakable. Chosen one, heaven is leaning in. The supernatural is drawing near. You will notice divine signs more clearly, your intuition sharpening, your discernment awakening, your inner voice amplifying. You'll feel guided in ways that feel strangely familiar, yet undeniably supernatural, because your spirit recognizes the pathway even when your mind doesn't. And let me say this from experience. When God brings you into phase 2, He doesn't bring you into it quietly. Things happen suddenly. Doors appear where walls used to stand. People show up who feel heaven sent. Opportunities align at the exact moment you release fear. And blessings come not as random luck, but as divine timing unfolding right in front of you. You are not entering a season of chance. You are entering a season of appointment. And the danger around you is simply confirmation that the promise ahead of you is real. Chosen one, phase 2 is here, and heaven is about to prove it. Chosen one, now that you've stepped into phase 2, there's something you must understand. Elevation always exposes what was hidden. When God lifts you, He doesn't just raise your life, He raises your awareness. And you've probably noticed it already. The things that once felt harmless now feel heavy. The people who once blended in now feel out of alignment. Your spirit is catching signals faster than your mind can process them. This is because phase 2 activates a heightened spiritual sensitivity. The air around you feels different. The atmosphere you walk into carries more meaning, and conversations you used to overlook now carry weight. You're not imagining it, you're discerning it. Heaven has opened your eyes, and once your eyes open, they cannot close again. And with new sight comes new responsibility. You are seeing things not as they appear, but as they truly are. You're noticing intentions, patterns, energies, motives. You're sensing who is for you and who carries hidden envy. You're feeling who should walk with you into the next chapter and who must remain in the last one. This is not paranoia. This is protection. I've walked through seasons like this. Seasons where God started exposing things I wasn't prepared to see. People I trusted showed cracks. Opportunities I wanted revealed hidden traps. Doors I prayed for were quietly closed. At first I felt confused, even frustrated, like everything familiar was suddenly shifting out from under me. But now I see it clearly. God removes what threatens your future before it can reach your destiny. And chosen one, that is exactly what He's doing for you. Phase 1 was about survival. Phase 2 is about separation. Not separation from people in anger, but separation from anything that cannot hold the weight of your calling. Some connections collapse because your spirit outgrew their capacity. Some relationships fade because your elevation exposes their insecurities. Some environments become uncomfortable because God has already moved your anointing elsewhere. This is the part most people misunderstand. They think loss means failure. But in divine timing, loss is often a sign that God is clearing space for something greater. You're not losing stability, you're gaining room for expansion. And even though the pruning feels painful, the fruit that follows is always worth it. But I need to prepare you for something deeper. When God brings you into phase 2, the enemy cannot touch your destiny, but he will try to touch your focus. This is the real danger on your head. Distraction disguised as opportunity, fear disguised as logic, and doubt disguised as caution. This is not a battle of weapons, it's a battle of attention. And this is why your thoughts have been louder, why your emotions have been sharper, why your heart has been more sensitive. Heaven is upgrading your discernment while hell is trying to downgrade your confidence. But hear me, your spirit is stronger than the fear that tries to shake it. One of the most profound lessons I learned in my own journey came in a moment when everything felt uncertain. I was praying, overwhelmed, feeling pressure from directions I couldn't understand. And suddenly, deep within, came a whisper. Not as a voice outside me, but as a revelation inside me. Your pressure is proof that something holy is happening. I didn't fully understand it then, but as time passed, blessings began to unfold, opportunities aligned, and doors opened that I couldn't have forced even if I tried. That's when it hit me. The pressure was not an attack, it was spiritual contractions. It was birth. Chosen one, your pressure is not proof of danger, It's proof of delivery. You are birthing a new season, a new identity, a new authority. Heaven is stretching you, not to break you, but to expand your capacity. Phase 2 requires a different version of you, a stronger, steadier, wiser, quieter version. A version who doesn't respond to everything. A version who doesn't explain yourself to everyone. A version who understands that silence is sometimes strategy and discernment is sometimes protection. And most importantly, a version who understands that divine timing is not delayed timing. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. When God moves, he moves suddenly. What took years in phase 1 will take moments in phase 2. But you must stay aligned. You must stay anchored. You must stay spiritually awake. Because destiny is not something you chase, it's something you prepare for. And when preparation meets divine timing, breakthrough becomes inevitable. This is your moment. This is your shift. This is the unveiling of a season that has been waiting for you longer than you've been waiting for it. Chosen one, phase 2 is moving, and it's moving toward you. Chosen one, as you step deeper into phase 2, you're going to notice something unexpected. The shift isn't only happening around you, it's happening inside you. There is a quiet transformation unfolding beneath the surface, a recalibration of your spirit that even you may struggle to put into words. You may feel more distant from things that once excited you, more reflective in moments that once felt ordinary, more sensitive to environments that once felt harmless. This is not a decline. This is an awakening. Phase 2 is pulling you into a level of self-awareness that is both uncomfortable and holy. Things you used to tolerate now feel heavy. Habits you once ignored now feel incompatible. Conversations that once entertained you now feel draining. Your spirit is evolving, and your old patterns simply cannot breathe in your new atmosphere. In Chosen One, this is one of the clearest signs that God is preparing you for something bigger. Because every divine promotion demands internal purification. Heaven elevates you internally before it elevates you externally. And that inner shift often begins with discomfort. Let me tell you from my own life. Whenever God was about to promote me, the first thing he did wasn't bless me. It was break me away from what was limiting me. I felt restless, detached, even misunderstood. I felt like I didn't belong where I once felt safe. At first I resisted it. I tried to hold on to old cycles, old friendships, old rhythms. And the more I tried to stay the same, the more distant I felt from myself. Eventually I realized what you're realizing right now. The version of me required for the next season could not survive in the comfort of the last one. And the same is true for you. Phase 2 is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to the version of you God intended before life tried to distract you. The version of you with clarity, the version of you with conviction, the version of you who doesn't shrink for fear of being misunderstood, but stands tall in your anointing even when eyes are watching. This is why God is refining you. This is why things feel tight. This is why your spirit feels sensitive. You are shedding spiritual weight. You are releasing emotional clutter. You are stepping out of the shell of survival and into the identity of authority. But here's the part most people don't tell you. Internal transformation always triggers external reaction. When your spirit rises, the environment around you shifts. When your mindset elevates, the people around you reveal their true intentions. When your energy changes, the connections attached to your old frequency begin to fall away. And listen carefully, not everyone who disconnects from you is an enemy. Some people love the version of you who needed them. They don't know how to love the version of you who outgrew the things that once kept you small. You are not hard to love. You are hard to manipulate. You are not distant. You are discerning. You are not cold. You are protected. Your spirit is no longer available to everything. You are no longer accessible to everyone. And that is intentional. That is divine. That is phase 2. You will notice certain conversations suddenly bore you. Certain people suddenly drain you. Certain environments suddenly irritate your spirit. This is spiritual intelligence awakening. This is divine filtering. God is removing the noise so you can hear the next instruction clearly. And make no mistake, an instruction is coming. Phase 2 always comes with a divine assignment, a calling, a task that requires a higher version of you, and God is preparing you to carry it without dropping it. He is shaping you into someone who can handle the weight of influence, the responsibility of prosperity, the discipline of purpose. This internal refinement is the evidence that your breakthrough is near, because God does not prepare someone who is not about to be positioned. You are not being corrected, you are being calibrated. You are not being restricted, you are being reshaped. You are not being punished, you are being purified. And purification is painful only when you don't understand its purpose. But once you see the pattern, everything changes. The loneliness becomes clarity. The silence becomes strategy. The sensitivity becomes strength. The discomfort becomes direction. Chosen one, you are not losing yourself. You are rediscovering yourself. You are becoming someone who can stand in rooms your old self would have collapsed in. You are growing into someone who can carry blessings your old mindset would have wasted. And even though it feels intense, even though it feels unfamiliar, even though it feels like your spirit is stretching, this is exactly what divine elevation feels like. You are not behind. You are not confused. You are not declining. You are transforming. This inner shift is the proof that heaven is preparing to entrust you with something heavier, something holier, something greater than anything that has ever entered your life. Chosen one, phase 2 is taking shape inside you before it appears around you. And when the internal shift finishes, the external shift will arrive suddenly. Chosen one, as you move further into phase 2, there's something you must understand with absolute clarity. This season is not simply about growth. It is about spiritual positioning. You are being placed, aligned, and repositioned for a destiny that has been waiting for you longer than you have been waiting for it. And because of that, heaven is adjusting the coordinates of your life with a level of precision you may not fully comprehend yet. You might feel like you're being pulled away from things you once depended on. You might feel like certain opportunities are slipping out of your hands. You might feel like doors you prayed for are closing without explanation. But the truth is, God is not removing you from stability. He is removing you from misalignment. Elevation requires accuracy, and in phase 2, accuracy is everything. This is why you're noticing sudden changes in your desires. This is why old habits feel foreign, why old cycles feel suffocating, why old versions of yourself feel impossible to return to. Your spirit is refusing to settle for anything beneath your calling. You are no longer aligned with anything that drains, delays, or diminishes the fire inside you. When God positions you, He doesn't ask your comfort for permission. He asks your destiny for direction. And destiny has spoken. It is time to rise. But rising comes with resistance, not external resistance, internal. The real battle in phase 2 is not people, not circumstances, not enemies. The real battle is between who you were and who you are becoming. Your old self will try to cling to familiarity. Your new self will crave transformation. You will feel this tug of war in your decisions, in your habits, in your thoughts. One part of you wants to keep peace by staying small. The other part of you knows you were created to stand tall. One part of you fears the unknown. The other part of you feels pulled towards something bigger. One part of you remembers the pain of past disappointments. The other part of you refuses to let fear sabotage your future. This tension does not mean you're lost. It means you're transitioning. When a rocket leaves the ground, the shaking is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of lift off. And right now, your entire being is shaking because your spirit is breaking free from old gravity. Old mindsets, old wounds, old limits, old labels. They cannot follow you into this next dimension. And here's where most chosen ones stumble. They try to bring old discipline into new elevation. They try to bring old tolerance into new environments. They try to bring old boundaries into new assignments. But phase 2 demands a higher standard. You cannot pray for expansion and live with contraction. You cannot ask for abundance and tolerate lack-based thinking. You cannot carry a royal calling with a survival mentality. This season requires boldness, clarity, structure, conviction. You must speak differently, think differently, behave differently, and believe differently. And the world around you will notice this shift. Some will admire it, some will misunderstand it, some will envy it, some will distance themselves from you because your elevation disrupts their comfort. Do not take this personally. When light increases, shadows lengthen. Your glow will reveal what was hidden in others. Your growth will expose who cannot grow with you. Your prosperity will show who celebrated you only when you were beneath them. But this exposure is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to free you. You are not meant to carry dead weight into destiny. You are not meant to drag old frequencies into new atmospheres. You are not meant to apologize for evolving. You are stepping into a season that requires emotional cleanliness, spiritual clarity, and mental sharpness. And yes, the danger on your head is real, not a danger of destruction, but a danger of distraction. If the enemy cannot stop your destiny, he will try to slow your focus. He will whisper doubt. He will send unnecessary noise. He will magnify old wounds. He will stir old insecurities. But he has no authority over you. In this season, your greatest weapon is not defense, it is direction. When you walk with purpose, you become untouchable. When you stay aligned, you become unstoppable. When you listen to the voice within, the noise around you loses its power. Chosen one, your life is entering a supernatural recalibration. You are being aligned with opportunities you didn't chase, blessings you didn't earn, favor you didn't expect, and doors you didn't knock on. Not by chance, but by calling. Not by luck, but by divine appointment. You are being prepared for a moment that heaven has already declared over your life. Phase 2 is not coming, it is here. And everything inside you is rising to meet it. Chosen one, as you move even deeper into phase 2, something sacred begins to unfold that most people will never understand. Your spirit is entering a season of supernatural restoration. And this kind of restoration does not start with blessings. It starts with exposure. God is exposing every place where you've been drained, every place where you've been overlooked, every place where you've been underestimated, every place where you've been carrying weight that was never yours to carry. And this exposure isn't meant to embarrass you or discourage you. It's meant to awaken you. Because for too long, you survived on strength that nobody knew you had. You smiled through battles that nobody saw. You endured seasons that would have broken anyone else. But now in phase 2, heaven is saying enough. It's time to restore what was taken, renew what was lost, and rebuild what was damaged. This is why certain memories have resurfaced. This is why certain emotions feel stronger. This is why certain wounds feel like they're asking for your attention. Not to reopen pain, but to close it permanently. You're not being triggered, you're being healed. You're not being reminded of the past, you're being released from it. Restoration requires revelation, and God cannot heal what you continue to hide. That's why He's bringing things to the surface now. Because phase 2 demands a healed version of you, not a hurting one. The broken version of you was useful for phase 1, but the healed version of you is necessary for where you're going next. And chosen one, let me speak from my own experience, because I've walked through this kind of restoration. Before God poured new blessings into my life, He forced me to confront old wounds I thought I had already buried. He showed me the places where fear still had roots. He revealed the relationships where I was giving more than I received. He exposed the moments where I was shrinking just to be accepted. It wasn't pleasant, it wasn't easy, it wasn't comfortable, but it was holy. Because breakthrough doesn't begin with reward. Breakthrough begins with release. And you, chosen one, are being released. Released from guilt that wasn't yours. Released from expectations that were too heavy. Released from relationships that drained your spirit. Released from cycles that stole your peace. And as you release these things, something powerful will happen. The weight on your shoulders will lift. Your mind will clear, your heart will soften, and your spirit will rise again. This is the restoration that prepares you for divine promotion. Because promotion without healing leads to sabotage. Prosperity without restoration leads to imbalance. Blessing without boundaries leads to burnout. Phase 2 requires you to walk with clarity, not confusion. Strength, not survival. Confidence, not fear. And that's why God is restoring your identity piece by piece. You're going to notice yourself speaking differently. You're going to notice yourself saying no without guilt. You're going to notice yourself choosing peace over validation. You're going to notice yourself protecting your energy without apology. And this is where the supernatural shift takes place, when you start acting like the person heaven already knows you are. A person with authority, a person with discernment, a person with purpose, a person with destiny, a person who knows they are chosen. And as your identity strengthens, another layer of restoration begins: your expectations. In phase 1, you prayed small because you were surviving. In phase 2, you think bigger because you're expanding. Your expectations rise because your spirit knows something is coming. Your inner world starts aligning with a larger vision. Your faith grows without being forced. And this inner expansion is the signal for heaven to respond. Because God does not pour abundance into a spirit still expecting scarcity. He does not release promotion into a mind still replaying past failure. He does not send blessings to a heart still attached to old wounds. And you are not there anymore. You are rising into a version of yourself that expects goodness, that anticipates breakthrough, that welcomes abundance, that believes in divine timing without fear. This is why the atmosphere around you feels different. This is why opportunities feel closer. This is why your intuition feels sharper. You're stepping into alignment, real alignment. And when your identity aligns, your expectations align, your spirit aligns, your vision aligns. Blessings have no choice but to locate you. In this stage of phase 2, chosen one, restoration is not only healing your past, it is positioning your future. You are becoming someone who can carry prosperity without losing humility, walk in favor without attracting chaos, and step into influence without losing your soul. You are becoming someone heaven can trust with more purpose, more responsibility, more wealth, more wisdom, more impact. Restoration is not the reward, it is the preparation, and you're in the middle of it right now. Chosen one, as you continue moving through phase 2, there is another transformation unfolding, one that is subtle, sacred, and deeply strategic. It is the transformation of your mindset, not the surface-level thoughts you speak out loud, but the silent conversations you have with yourself when no one is watching. This is where destiny is either fueled or forfeited, and in this season, God is completely rewiring the way you think, the way you perceive, the way you interpret life. Because you cannot step into a divine future with a wounded mindset. You cannot walk into supernatural abundance with human limitation. You cannot embrace spiritual authority with earthly fears. So God begins to press on the inner places where your thinking has been shaped by experiences instead of purpose. He challenges the beliefs that were formed in moments of survival. He confronts the stories you tell yourself when you feel alone, overlooked, or unworthy. This mental recalibration is not punishment, it is preparation. And if you've been feeling mentally stretched, emotionally sensitive, or spiritually alert, it's because heaven is upgrading the operating system of your mind. You're being lifted out of old fears. You're being pulled out of old insecurities. You're being separated from beliefs that no longer fit your calling. In phase 1, your mindset had to survive battle. In phase 2, your mindset must steward blessing. And chosen one, those two mindsets cannot coexist. Survival thinking is rooted in fear. Kingdom thinking is rooted in possibility. Survival thinking prepares for the worst. Kingdom thinking expects the best. Survival thinking conserves energy. Kingdom thinking multiplies it. Survival thinking waits for attack. Kingdom thinking walks in authority. This is why your inner world feels different, because God is pulling you out of the old mental cage and teaching you how to think like someone chosen, someone trusted, someone called, someone equipped. Let me remind you of something I learned in my own journey. The enemy attacks your mind the hardest right before God expands your life. Not because you're weak, but because you're transitioning. The thoughts that feel loud right now, the doubts, the worries, the uncertainties, are not signs of failure. They're signs of elevation. When your spirit rises, the enemy panics. He knows he cannot take your destiny, so he tries to take your clarity. But clarity is not lost. It is being refined. And that refinement often comes through pressure. When I was entering my own phase 2, I experienced days where my thoughts felt heavy, where everything seemed uncertain, where my spirit felt stretched beyond what I understood. But every time I pushed through the fear, a blessing appeared on the other side. Every time I silenced the doubt, God opened a new door. Every time I refused to shrink, heaven expanded my territory. I realized something powerful. The enemy only fights you in the area you're about to rise in. And he fights early, before the breakthrough, so you'll sabotage the blessing before it arrives. That is why Phase 2 requires mental discipline. The discipline to choose faith over fear. The discipline to choose vision over limitation. The discipline to choose healing over old cycles. The discipline to choose purpose over comfort. The discipline to choose alignment over approval. And this discipline is not forced, it's forged. Forged in the moments you refuse to repeat the old story. Forged in the moments you choose peace over panic. Forged in the moments you take your thoughts captive instead of letting them control you. Forged in the moments you remind yourself, I am chosen, I am protected, I am guided, I am prepared. Your mind becomes your altar, your thoughts become your offering, your discipline becomes your worship. And when your mindset reaches that shift, something incredible happens. Life begins to obey you. Opportunities begin to respond to you. People begin to recognize your authority. The atmosphere around you begins to align with your internal strength. You stop doubting your decisions. You stop replaying your pain. You stop negotiating your value. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop apologizing for your calling. You begin to walk with a confidence that is not ego. It is revelation. A revelation that you were never meant to live small. A revelation that destiny requires courage. A revelation that the doors God opens cannot be closed by fear. A revelation that your life is entering a season where your thoughts must match your purpose. And when your mindset shifts, the blessings follow. Because the truth is simple. What you believe determines what you receive. Phase 2 is teaching you to believe bigger, see further, dream bolder, and think higher. Because your mind is the soil where your miracles begin. And chosen one, your soil is finally becoming fertile. Heaven is planting something in you that cannot be shaken. A vision, a calling, a purpose, a future, and your mind is rising to meet it. Chosen one, as Phase 2 deepens, you'll notice a new kind of shift. Not in your spirit, not in your mind, but in your atmosphere. The space around you is changing, the spiritual climate you walk in is rising, and the energy that once surrounded you no longer fits the frequency you carry. This is not imagination. This is elevation. Your very presence is beginning to disrupt environments, stir dormant spirits, and trigger reactions in people who cannot articulate why they suddenly feel uncomfortable around you. And it's simple. Your light is increasing. Your authority is intensifying. Your calling is becoming louder, and people can feel it even if they cannot explain it. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere shifts because heaven walks with you. When you speak, your words carry weight because your voice is now an instrument of alignment. When you stay silent, your silence is felt because your presence holds prophetic pressure. You are no longer spiritually neutral, you are spiritually noticeable. And this is where things get interesting. Because when your presence starts to carry power, the world around you responds in 3 ways. Some are drawn to you because they sense the peace you carry, some respect you because they feel the strength of your spirit, and others resist you because your growth exposes what they've refused to confront within themselves. This is why certain people seem irritated by your existence, even though you've done nothing to provoke them. This is why some individuals who once supported you now seem distant. This is why certain environments suddenly feel tight or heavy. You are not doing something wrong, you are doing something right. Your elevation is unsettling the spiritual comfort zones of those around you. Your presence reveals their stagnation. Your growth challenges their complacency. Your light exposes their shadows. And without realizing it, they begin to repel what they are not willing to rise to. This is why, in Phase 2, God creates a sacred layer of separation around your life. Not isolation, insulation. He is insulating your purpose so it cannot be contaminated. He is insulating your vision so it cannot be distorted. He is insulating your anointing so it cannot be drained. You are being protected from energies that would sabotage your destiny if they got too close. Because what God is building in you requires stability, and anything unstable must be held at a distance. This insulation may feel like loneliness, but it is not loneliness. It is consecration. You are being set apart. You are being hidden in plain sight. You are being covered while you are transformed. This is what happens to every chosen one before a divine appointment. Before David was crowned, he was isolated in fields. Before Joseph was promoted, he was separated in prison. Before Moses led nations, he was hidden in wilderness. Before Jesus began his ministry, he pulled away into silence. Separation precedes elevation. Isolation precedes revelation. And if you feel God pulling you away from certain people, places, or patterns, it is because phase 2 requires focus. You cannot rise while being surrounded by noise. You cannot hear divine instruction while drowning in distraction. You cannot hold the mantle of leadership while entertaining the chaos of the past. And this is why God is adjusting your atmosphere. You are being shifted into a spiritual altitude where pettiness cannot reach you, jealousy cannot touch you, gossip cannot distract you, and low-frequency energy cannot survive around you. Your atmosphere is being purified so your purpose can breathe. But with this new spiritual atmosphere comes a new responsibility. You must protect your environment with wisdom. Don't allow everyone into your space. Don't share your visions with people who lack vision. Don't expect understanding from those who still live in the mindset you left behind. Don't apologize for distancing yourself from people who refuse to grow. Your spirit is evolving, and your boundaries must evolve with it. You must become selective with your time, guarded with your energy, intentional with your words, and wise with your access. Because phase 2 is not just about receiving blessing, it's about sustaining blessing. And your atmosphere determines your ability to sustain it. When the atmosphere around you becomes aligned with the atmosphere within you, miracles happen naturally. Opportunities flow easily. Discernment becomes sharper. Creativity increases. Confidence strengthens. Peace becomes your foundation. This is where God positions you to receive divine connections. The kind of people who nourish your calling, activate your gifts, sharpen your mind, and walk with you instead of pulling against you. These connections are coming, and when they arrive, your spirit will recognize them instantly. But until then, God is cleansing your surroundings so you can receive new people without the residue of old ones clinging to your spirit. Chosen one, your atmosphere is changing because your assignment is changing. And your assignment is changing because your identity has changed. You are walking into rooms you were once too small for. You are carrying authority you once didn't believe you had. You are stepping into a season where you must breathe a different air. The air of purpose, clarity, power, and divine alignment. This is the atmosphere of phase 2, and you are rising into it right now. Chosen one, as you step into the highest arc of phase 2, something profound begins unfolding around you. Not slowly, not subtly, but with a divine force that feels undeniable. You are entering a zone where destiny no longer needs to be chased, prayed for, or begged for. Destiny begins to flow toward you because you have finally risen to the frequency that matches what heaven wrote about you long before you were born. The signs are already appearing. Opportunities that once ignored you now recognize you. Rooms that once felt inaccessible now feel like they were waiting for you. People who once overlooked you are suddenly paying attention, and deep inside you can feel it. Something bigger than you is moving through your life. Something holy, something precise, something timed. But with this acceleration comes the final and most sacred requirement of phase 2, the ability to hold what is being given to you. Because God does not release abundance into unprepared hands. Blessings are not random, they are entrusted. And heaven entrusts only those who have been shaped, refined, and tested enough to steward divine weight without breaking under it. This is why the earlier parts of your journey felt heavy. This is why you were stretched beyond comfort. This is why God exposed your wounds, purified your mindset, elevated your spirit, and reshaped your identity. You were being trained for the weight of destiny, not the idea of destiny, the reality of it. And now that the reality is arriving, God needs you to understand that phase 2 is not simply a season of receiving. It is a season of managing, multiplying, and protecting. You must manage your emotions with maturity. You must multiply your gifts with intention. You must protect your environment with vigilance. Because elevation without discipline collapses. Favor without structure dissolves. Prosperity without wisdom destroys. But you, chosen one, have been walking through a sacred curriculum designed to make you unshakable. You've learned how to stand alone without collapsing. You've learned how to walk in silence without losing direction. You've learned how to expect blessings without demanding proof. And most importantly, you've learned how to trust God in seasons where nothing made sense, which means you're ready to trust Him now that everything is about to fall into place. But here's the truth most people never grasp. The higher God lifts you, the quieter your spirit must become. Not because you are shrinking, but because your spirit is tuning into a different frequency, a higher one, a clearer one, a holy one. In phase 2, you begin to hear instructions that others cannot hear. You begin to see paths that others cannot see. You begin to understand timing that others cannot understand. And this new clarity is proof that heaven is preparing you for rapid acceleration. The kind of acceleration that feels supernatural because it is supernatural. When God moves in this season, He will not walk. He will not crawl. He will not hesitate. He will move with speed, the speed of divine timing, the speed of prophetic fulfillment, the speed of alignment meeting assignment. But acceleration always attracts interference. The danger on your head will not disappear simply because breakthrough is near. Instead, the danger changes shape. It becomes quieter, trickier, more psychological. Doubt whispers when you begin rising. Fear taps your shoulder when opportunity appears. Fatigue creeps in when destiny gets close. Temptation knocks gently when you've almost crossed into blessing. But don't misunderstand. This is not because you are weak. It is because you are close. The enemy never fights the beginning of a journey. He fights the threshold. And chosen one, you are standing on the threshold now. This is where spiritual maturity matters. This is where you must trust what God told you, not what the world shows you. This is where you must remember who you are, not who you were. This is where you must refuse to descend back to levels that no longer fit your calling. Because once God elevates you, the only way the enemy can reach you is if you willingly step down. And you will not step down. You have come too far. You have healed too much. You have endured too deeply. You have invested too many tears, too many prayers, too many nights of faith to return to a life you've already outgrown. So hear this clearly. In phase 2, your victory is not in fighting. It is in remaining. Remaining aligned, remaining focused, remaining calm, remaining in faith, remaining connected to your purpose, remaining rooted in the identity God has restored within you. When you remain, blessings find you effortlessly. Resources flow toward you naturally. Opportunities open for you organically. Divine connections locate you divinely. Because the moment you become who heaven needs you to be, everything written for you begins moving in your direction. Phase 2 is not the conclusion of your journey. It is the inauguration of the version of you that was always meant to rise. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what God has appointed over your life. You are rising, you are aligning, you are stepping into your divine rhythm. Chosen One Phase 2 is now fully activated, and your destiny is responding. Chosen One, before you leave this message, pause for a moment and let your spirit absorb what heaven has spoken over you today. You are not the same person who started this video. Something inside you has shifted, quietly, deeply, unmistakably. Phase 2 has already begun to move through your life, and whether you feel it fully or only sense it faintly, the transformation is real. The danger that once hovered over your head has lost its power. The confusion that once clouded your mind has been broken. The weight that once sat on your chest has been lifted. You are stepping into a season where God goes before you, walks beside you, and surrounds you with a shield of favor that cannot be penetrated. Chosen One, this is your moment to stand firm, to believe boldly, to walk with confidence even if the path isn't fully revealed yet. Trust the timing, because the timing is divine. Trust the shift, because the shift is sacred. Trust the calling, because the calling is yours alone. And as you move forward, remember this. Phase 2 isn't just happening around you, it's happening through you. You are becoming the vessel God uses to heal, to uplift, to break through, to transform. If this message touched your spirit, comment 777 below as your declaration. I am ready for phase 2. Hit like to seal this word and subscribe so you stay connected with this sacred journey. Chosen one, walk boldly. The next chapter has already opened.